Last fight, you saw my face the last fight, right?
Yeah.
So I had a parent-teacher interview
Oh my
on
God.
the Monday, and my kids go to private school. So
Welcome to Champions Battlefield, the show where we meet with champions and discuss their story of overcoming adversity. I'm Trevor Carroll. With me is my co-host Jamak Elshani. In studio today, we have BFL Amateur Women's Champion Shawna Ram, who's going to tell us a little bit more about her story.
Hey Shawna, thanks for coming in.
thanks for having me.
You had some challenges getting here today, it sounded like, right?
I did.
Was it somebody ran into your car?
Oh yeah, while I was parked, there was somebody in a
Just
truck just decided to sideswipe me and had the kids in there, and
Oh my God.
it was kind of a traumatizing experience.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially
I've-
for my kids.
Well, I've had, when they're in that certain age that they're claiming their independence or whatever. I've
Yeah.
had my kids run into the middle of the road. I'm like, what are you trying to do here?
Totally. I know people I was yelling and
Yeah.
like
So
It
the
was
guy just
crazy.
like ran into your car
just
and took
ran into
off?
my
Well,
car.
he didn't take off.
No, he didn't
right?
take off. He stopped, but he just ran into the car, and he was in a big truck, and I had to drive home. Fred Flintstone. The door was open, and
Oh my God.
yeah.
At least the weather was cooperative, right?
Yeah.
That's good.
So
What's tell me a little bit about your childhood. Where were you born? Where did you grow up?
well, I was born in a small town
Mhm.
in the Okanagan,
Okay.
and then it was pretty much just me and my mom for the first couple years, and then
Yeah.
she had my brother, and we're about 3.5, 4 years difference.
Okay.
And then 8 years later, my third brother came along.
Oh
and
wow, it's a big
yeah,
gap.
it is. Yeah. So while he was
So
kind of
8
growing
years
up,
after the. So you're 11ish.
so
12
I
years?
was eight. I was 8, and then my middle brother was
5.
about 5. Yeah, 5, and then
Yeah.
my brother, my
Okay.
youngest brother, came along.
So 2 brothers.
Two brothers.
Uh-huh.
I'm the oldest,
Yeah.
and we're all pretty close. So
Were
it's
you always-
especially
Go ahead.
yeah, especially as we get older,
You get closer,
We get
right?
closer. Yeah.
Nice. Were you always into? Were you always an athlete? Were you always into sports, or did it start at a certain time?
Well, I tried to be,
Yeah.
but it didn't. I didn't really excel too much in sports. I mean, PE was my favorite subject, but I wasn't like an all-star player by any means. So.
Which sports were you into?
I liked rugby, basketball.
Rugby.
Yeah.
Okay, so you
That's
always
nice.
kind of like
Yeah.
contact sports.
Yeah,
Huh?
well, 2 younger brothers, and they're always
Yeah.
trying to get in my space. So we had battles growing up for sure.
Yeah. So you tried basketball, rugby.
So basketball, rugby,
Mhm.
and then just kind of veered away and started just kind of doing my own thing. And
Yeah.
kind of lost myself for a bit. I kind of didn't know which direction I was going.
When was this? How old were you when this was happening?
I would say, my graduating year till, I was about 20. I kind of
Mhm.
went through a rough patch. And didn't
Were you
really
still in Okanagan, or had you moved?
No, we had moved down here.
When did you move?
Well, we moved like right away. I
Okay.
lived with my mom moved down here right away with me.
Okay.
And
Oh,
so
so before your brothers
yeah,
were born. Okay.
yeah. So we had come down here, and
Okay.
I grew up down here.
Yeah.
And so we just, I just kind of went through a rough patch and didn't really know what direction I was going,
Mhm.
and
Did you have some ideas of what you wanted to do, or were you completely confused?
no, I was completely confused. I was always kind of looking to fit in somewhere. Just like I shied away from confrontation a lot, and I didn't really have like a sense of belonging anywhere growing
Mhm.
up. So I was always kind of like desperately looking for that.
Mhm.
I didn't really have like that unconditional love at home
Mhm.
that a family would give their children.
Yeah, yeah.
It was kind of I wouldn't say it was a dysfunctional family, but I definitely lacked some of that unconditional love that parents should give their kids.
When you came out of high school in those ages that you're talking about, were you trying to associate with the various groups and whatnot to fill that gap?
Yeah, I was always kind of just looking to just try to find myself and what I was interested in,
Mhm.
and it didn't really, everything just kind of didn't really fit for me.
Mhm.
So
So you tried different things.
I just
and
tried different things, and nothing really worked. And then, you know, I met my husband, and everything just kind of clicked with him. You know, we were friends before, and he
So you
kind of
knew him beforehand?
Yeah, we were friends. You know, I've known him since I was 17.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, yeah, when we...
How'd you guys meet?
We just met through friends, like
Okay.
he was bouncing at a club.
Yeah.
And he was friends with some of my friends, and so we became friends.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had my fake ID and was allowed to get
Yeah.
into the bars, and he had bleach blonde hair, and so
Nice.
so we just kind of like we were just friends for a good 4 years, and it was
What? I'm curious. What? Because a lot of people that are in that situation that you just described, like young, not really having a direction, kind of not having a strong backbone to fall on, they get distracted by gangs, by drugs, alcohol, things like that. What kept you, do you think, in your opinion, and like what kind of saved you to not fall for those things at that like vulnerable time that you were in?
You know, honestly, looking back at it now, I feel like I always wanted some love. I always wanted to be a mom.
Mm-hmm.
So I never really had the urge to go out and look for like bad crowds like that, or get mixed up in bad crowds, because I always just wanted love. I just wanted to feel love and be loved and love something.
Yeah.
So I never was really attracted to the other type of life.
Okay. That's good. So that drive that you had to be a mom and keep it clean and stuff like that did it. And then you met Sal, you know, 4 years later, you guys get married. And is that your first exposure to martial arts?
I wouldn't say that's my first exposure. When I was young, my mom had put me in some martial arts, but I didn't really go. She kind of pulled me out when I got really interested in it, and she pulled me out of it, me and my brothers, and never put us back in it. So
because you were interested in it?
Oh, not because I was interested.
It was just circumstances.
I think, you know, living off like a one income in the household, we couldn't really afford it, right? So that was kind of left in the past. And and I always thought about it. Like even to this day, me and my husband, we talk about it all the time.
What kind of martial arts was it?
I did Taekwondo for a bit.
Everybody's done Taekwondo when they were young. It's like everybody you talk to. It's good.
Yeah, I think that's what was going down. You know, back in the day, was Taekwondo.
Taekwondo, yeah. Okay, so that wasn't your first exposure, but tell me, like how, what did you start training before you got married, or was it like how? Can you tell me the story there?
I never after the whole Taekwondo bit, I never trained again, and then once we got married. You know, he would get me to hit pads here and there, and we would roll together. And, you know, obviously then I got pregnant and kind of just watched people. And I never really, it's not something I never really took serious until I was able to do it. And when we moved gyms, we moved to Port Coquitlam. And that's when I was able to.
How is that? Because of proximity to home? Or?
Yeah, well, I mean, we lived in Maple Ridge, and our gym was originally in Burnaby.
Right.
The
so
distance to drive, right? I couldn't. And then, obviously, with small children, it was just too much. And they would always want to come run on the mats, and I would have to go and chase them off the mats. So we just kind of sat and watched. Or if we would get to class early, you know, Sal would hold pads for me and whatnot. Nice. Yeah.
Okay. But you were, when did you get into fitness?
So fitness came right after I gave birth to my daughter, 2011.
Okay.
Sal made me a gym in my detached garage.
Nice.
And I started working out there. And then I said, you know, maybe I need a goal. I need to do something rather than just like sit at home and, you know, not do anything.
Yeah, especially with a kid, you'd go crazy, right?
Yeah, totally. And we lived so far out at that time. I thought it was like so far.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need something. So he made me a gym, and we were able to work out there. And I was like, oh,
how many hours a day were you at your home gym? Would you say? Like were you training hard, or was it just?
Yeah, like maybe I would do cardio for like an hour in the morning, and then I would do weights like an hour.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too much.
Okay.
But it was something that I was able to go do every day, and I didn't have to go and pay like a gym membership and you know, pay like a daycare. I was able to just go in like my pajamas and work out, which was the best.
Yeah. Just do your thing.
Just do my thing.
Okay. And then you decided to set a goal for yourself?
Yeah. And
what was it?
Just to compete in a bikini fitness show. That's what I wanted to do. So I started working towards that.
Okay. How long did it take you to kind of, what did you like book a show or something? How did you set that goal for yourself?
So when I started lifting weights, 2011, I think it was, I told myself that I didn't want to do anything unless I felt like I was ready.
Okay.
So I did my first show 2013,
okay.
October.
2 years later.
2 years
okay.
later. So I did that. I
How
just
did
did
that
everything
feel?
myself. Like I didn't hire a coach. I was like, I'm just going to go and
On your own.
just do it by myself.
Without any
And
background,
I didn't know
right?
anything.
Okay.
So I had no clue what
So
the
were
hell
you
I was
like
doing.
online trying to figure stuff out or what?
Yeah, you know, like on Facebook or
Watching
Googling
videos
and watching videos and getting Sal to take pictures of me
Yeah.
and recording me. And it was a total flop for sure.
Through the home gym and
Yeah, it was
with
just
the kid.
it was a good experience. But
Yeah.
then I was like, you know what? I want to win.
Uh-huh.
So
Then you got serious.
then I got serious. And so then I
Have you
hired.
always had this sort of competitive edge to you where like I need to win?
I mean, I don't know. No.
So when you were younger in school with like
I don't know. I was really like passive. I was kind of like meh.
so your
Whatever.
first exposure
Second's
to
okay.
so first exposure to competition and I want to win this was the bodybuilding
Was the
stuff, right?
bodybuilding, yeah. And it, you know, it was good to go down that road too because, you know, I didn't win. Like I
Yeah.
never got a first place. And so I dealt with loss a lot.
Yeah.
And so I was able to, you know, kind of like dig deep and be like, it's okay.
Tell me a little bit about that. Like when you so 2013 was your first show, right? And then when did you was it right after the first show that you said I want to get into this and I want to win a title or something?
Yeah.
And then how long you probably worked a few months or something for the next show? Was it a year?
Yeah, so I did the show in October and then I hired a coach and we did the show in March.
Okay. So during that time you're going through this build up of working towards this and then you go on stage and you lose. And you have to go through the sort of the heartache of loss. What does that feel like for you? I mean, it's the first time you've set a goal like that and you worked so hard towards it, right?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I was upset, but I tried to look at it in the way that, like, okay, it wasn't something that I could I could do myself. Like, I could what's the word I'm looking for? Like the winning wasn't in my hands.
Okay.
You know, like I'm sitting
you
up there
weren't
being
completely
judged.
in control.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was sitting
get what you're
and
saying.
being judged. So that kind of like was good for me in that sense. It kind of like brought a little bit of calmness to all the emotions that were going on.
What'd you do after that? Did you feel like I'm gonna compete again?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I said, okay. Well, you know what? Actually, I didn't lose completely because how it works is if you get first call outs, which is top 5, then you get to go on to the next show, which is like a BC's, which is like the best in the BC, right? So then you get to go there. So I got a second place. My second show, I got the second place. So I was able to go to BC's. Okay. So I did the BC's and I got like last call out or something like that. Okay. So I completely lost. I came on I think 11th out of 13 or something like that. So, I mean, and at that time I was like, I'm going to come back and I'm going to do it again. I'm just going to do it again. Yeah. And it didn't really faze me. I'm sure I was upset, but whatever. Let's just do it again. So I did it again in October and I got another second. And I was happy with that. I was okay with that. Yeah. And then I did the BC's again, which was in May. Okay. And
This is May of what year now?
2015. Okay. I did that 2015, and so I dieted the whole time, and got last again. And then so there's so many things that can go wrong, right? This time, my tan wasn't good. So my tan looked like a bunch of mud on me. So and that one I worked really hard on that one, to be honest with you. I didn't cheat on that show. I did not cheat. So that one out of all the shows probably hurt me the most.
It burned, huh?
Yeah. Cuz I didn't.
Because you
that
hadn't
was out of
cheated,
my-
you
it was out
followed
of my
everything, and it
control.
was just because of the tan, you think?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was just because of the tan.
Okay.
So then I said, you know what? That's it. Because in this time between October and May,
yeah.
I competed in 2 jiu-jitsu tournaments.
Oh, okay.
So when
So this was your first sort of martial arts competition,
So
the
those-
jiu-jitsu?
yeah,
Okay.
I did 2. I did a couple nogi tournaments.
So what made you decide to do that?
Well, we moved the gym to Port Coquitlam, so it was
Yeah.
easier for me
To train.
to train.
Yeah.
And there was a space for my kids to kind of hang out. So they're older now.
How old are
And-
your kids?
At the time?
No, now.
Now they're 6, and my son will be 8
Okay.
in like a couple weeks.
Okay.
I had to think about that.
Yeah. No, I know. It's like when someone asks you like that, you're like, wait a minute.
How old am I?
Yeah. Okay, so you're getting a better opportunity to
Exactly,
train a little
'cause
bit
they're
more.
older now, and
And
they're
they can just hang out at the gym.
A little bit more
Okay.
independent. So yeah, they kind of was just doing their own thing, and we moved into the gym December 2014, and I did my first tournament March 2015. So I think I trained consistently for like 3 months before I did that tournament. I didn't know like completely nothing. I knew a couple like basic things.
Yeah.
But it was more based on.
But you
like,
just got
I
in
just
and
was like, I'm just doing it.
you know, I'm surprised because you come from a background of like zero competition.
Yeah.
And then all of a
I
sudden you're
know.
like, okay, let's start competing in this and
Totally.
competing in that.
Totally. And I really think it was like after the birth of my children, I was like, I want them to see that, their mom do something and have
Yeah.
something.
Nice.
So
So,
that's
that
what-
was a big motivating factor for you.
Totally.
Okay. So you do a couple jiu-jitsu competitions while you're still doing the fitness deal.
Yes.
And then when's the last fitness competition?
So
This
last
one?
fitness was the May
Yeah.
2015 where the whole bad tan happened. And
And by this time you've done two
Two
jiu-jitsu
jiu-jitsu
competitions. How did
competitions,
you do in those?
the first one I won.
Okay.
And then the second one, it was kind of like a iffy match because they put me in a weight class heavier, obviously, because I was dieting for the bikini
fitness
show.
thing, yeah.
So I was like 15 or 20 pounds lighter than the girl, and the girl that I had already competed against, or that I was competing against, I had competed and won against her the last time.
Oh, okay. So this is the
we
same
did like
girl.
we did like a full 7 minutes plus like 2 overtime with like
The EBI rules.
yeah, like
Okay,
nobody
yeah.
winning. And then I said, you know what? I'm not going to do this anymore. Let's fight. Let's get it done. And then my husband was like, I don't know.
Oh, so that's when you decided
That's
I'm
when I
gonna do
decided
MMA.
I'm going to do MMA.
Okay. What was that conversation with Sal like?
He was just kind of like, I don't know. I mean, he has to be supportive of me, right?
He doesn't
But
have a
he
choice
just
there.
has no
It's like-
choice, but he
But the idea of you getting punched in the face and
I
yeah.
mean, that's like the big thing, right? I mean, to
Total-
go from like bikini competitions where it's all about physique and like also like your appearance to like going to something different where everything is physical and like there is a chance that you could get injured or something. That must have been like, I've really got to train my wife now to be like to protect yourself and to be offensive. Like,
Yeah, and you know what? To be honest with you, he didn't give me any type of like special treatment in the beginning.
Yeah.
I was treated like
Just like any other
everybody
student.
else. Yeah, I had to prove myself.
Yeah.
He didn't like set any type of time aside from me. Like if you look at like my fights and the progression that I've done, it's because of the time that he's been putting into me. So
Like
in the
specifically
beginning,
working with you.
specifically each camp now
Yeah.
because I show up, I don't talk, and I do what I have to do. I have to train, and I'm there every class, so he's able to put that time into me.
So
but if I
what's-
wasn't there, put
You
that
wouldn't
time
you
in,
wouldn't get you wouldn't get any
Nope.
special treatment.
No.
So your first was your first fight against Ali?
Yes.
Okay. So that first fight, that's March of what, 2016 ish,
Yes.
right? Around
Yes.
there. The lead up to that fight, who you have training partners that you train, are they all guys?
Yeah.
Okay. So are you getting used to getting hit in the face and all this stuff? What's happening?
Yeah.
Tell us, like, because listening to you, you've done your fitness competition, you've done a couple of jits matches, so you're used to rolling around a little bit, but the going from training into competition of where you can hit somebody or you're getting hit and all that stuff is very different. What's that transition like for you? What's the feelings? What are the feelings like?
Well, when I first started getting hit, I was like, we call it the butt pirate. So I would close one eye and I would kind of like shy away from it. But I mean, you get used to it the more and more you get hit. So, they would hit me in the face, and at first I wasn't able to take it, but it's like with anything, you just get used to it, and it's kind of just not, yeah. Then you don't even notice that it's happening.
Yeah.
So and another thing is like it's also like how you take it, right? If you get hit in the face and you get all hot and you got that ego going on, and then you're gonna try to, you're not gonna learn anything.
Right.
So if you're getting hit in the face, it's because you're not doing something right. So I took that as a learning experience every time. Even now, when I get hit in the face, I'm not doing something right.
Yeah.
So.
Did your kids see you come home with like black eyes or like bloody noses or like bruised lips, and then they realize like mom can kick ass, or is that like a big thing for you?
Well, actually, my last fight, you saw my face the last fight, right?
Yeah.
So I had a parent-teacher interview on the Monday, and my kids go to private school. So I walk in, and of course I had to bring the bell because they're like, they would be like, "What's going on?" But yeah,
you had to show them it wasn't just some random street fight.
Exactly. So when I had woke up the next morning and my kids came in the room to see, they're like, they looked at you, "Mama, what happened?" And it was worth it. So then when we went to the parent-teacher interview, the teacher's like, "What happened?" And my kids are like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. It was worth it." So,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So they, they think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't really think anything too much of it, to be honest with you. They're kind of used to it now.
Well, it's a whole family, right?
Totally.
Yeah. So I guess at the transition from, a lot of women are fitness competitors, bikini competitions and all that. And there are a lot of women who are MMA fighters, right? But for you to make this transition from that world into this world of, like Trevor was saying, all about the beauty of the body and things like that, into this world of, okay, I'm tough and I'm going to take your head off. Was there any sort of perception issues that you've had to fight, or you're still fighting? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, when people see me in general, they don't really take me too seriously, like I'm a petite, like blonde girl.
Yeah.
And so I have a hard time kind of breaking that barrier.
Yeah.
And then especially like people who might have known me from before I even competed in any type of jiu-jitsu or even any trained anything. They're kind of shocked when they find out that I fight now.
Yeah.
But again, I don't go out and like broadcast it to the world. But just when people come
when you meet someone and someone says, "What do you do?" How do you answer that question?
Usually I just tell them I train. And it takes a little bit of a conversation
to get there.
Yeah. So
you don't just come out and say, "I'm a fighter."
No.
I'm a prize fighter.
No, I don't.
You're a mom first, right?
I'm a mom first, exactly.
Of course, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so but I'm still like trying to figure out that transition mentally for you must have been different, than just because you're in your gym, you're doing your own training, and you go and pose on stage.
Yeah, at what point does it get like really serious? Because you said before you were just like okay with second place, but now you have tasted what it's like to actually have some success. So at what point did it like change for you, for your motivation to be, instead of just doing it to have fun, to being like really successful, to seeing that you can go further past what your original goal was just to do it for your kids? Like what point was it that kind of triggered it for you?
I think that what triggered it for me was that when I actually went out and I won, but like by myself, like I was able to take winning into my own hands. I think that's what was really like the turning point for me, because I can do it. I can do it myself, and I believe that I can do it myself. And I don't think that, you know, my last fight, to be honest with you, I felt like I lost that fight because I didn't go out there and finish. And that's where I feel like my winning is. I feel like I need to finish. I'm always looking to finish.
Right. You're that kind of a fighter.
I'm that kind of a fighter. I don't do point fighting.
Yeah. What's I was gonna ask you about your sort of life balance. You own a gym, right, with Sal. So you help run that gym. I've heard, like, I don't know if it was on social media or actually some of the guys talk about how you're like the mother hen in that gym. You know, you're like you make everything go around. You've got 2 kids you're raising. You're training on a regular basis, and then when it comes fight time, you're in fight camp, which means what, training twice, 3 times a day, having to eat properly. How do you balance all that? I mean, you know, if you take any of those things on its own, it's a full-time job, right? You have 2 children. You take, having 2 kids on its own is a full-time job. Running a gym is a full-time job, right? And then being able to compete at the level that you're competing and you're working yourself up towards higher level of competition is a full-time job. How do you manage that? How do you, do you find days that you're like, oh man, fuck this, I'm just gonna stay in bed. I can't deal with all this.
I mean, for sure. I think doing anything in life, it gets to that point sometimes where you just kind of like get so frustrated and flustered with it that you just want to say, fuck this, and go hang out in your room. But at the end of the day, nobody's going to sit there and pat your ass for you. You got to make it happen yourself. Right. So I'm not about making excuses. And I'm not a quitter. Like, if I wasn't doing this in my life, what am I going to be doing? Just being a regular old mom, That's
just not good enough, huh?
It's not for me right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, some days it's crazy. I'm not going to lie. I have to run a tight ship. And when shit happens, like getting in a car accident, it fucks my day up. Yeah. But, I have to, like, push past it. And I have to show my kids that you have to push past it. You have to make it happen. Mm-hmm. And that's something I've really learned from my husband, to be honest with you. He's like, that guy doesn't sleep, man. He's up 24/7. He's constantly, his mind is always working. And so I get a lot of my drive from him. Mm-hmm.
He sets a good example.
Totally.
So I'm just trying to figure out, like, do you, at the beginning of the week, do you schedule everything out, trying to make sure that you hit everything? Do you just kind of take it as it comes? Tell us a little bit about how you manage all this.
So I got my set things that I do, like I wake up, get the kids ready for school, get their lunches, take them to school, do my volunteer work there, come home.
You do volunteer work at school? Oh my God.
Do volunteer work, come home, make all the lunches, go to the gym, train. Then I come home. And then I pick my kids up, go home, make dinner, pack their food up, go back to the gym, train again.
You take the kids with you to the gym?
Take the kids with me to the gym for like three or 4 hours. Yeah. And then come home. So anything in between, any appointments that I've got or I have to do, anything I have to do it in between those time slots. Right. So like if I have to go go to the doctor, I have to go between certain times. I can only go between like 9:30 and like 11 in the morning. But I have to, if I go to the doctor, I have to make sure that lunch is made for the afternoon.
So you're pretty much putting your life on hold for everything else first, and then you focus on whatever you need to do, right?
Yeah. So my whole thing is that I'm a mom first. Yeah. And so training's a privilege to me. And if I don't have my daily duties as a mom done, then
you can't do that.
I can't train. Mm-hmm. So I always make time to do it. That's why a lot of these people, I hear a lot of excuses like, oh, my life, I can't work. But I mean, I do it, and I got a lot of shit going on. I take care of.
Wait, you have a job too, don't you? Because I remember
I have a job too. Yeah, I work Friday, Saturday nights, 10 to 3 a.m. Jesus. And I go to church on Sunday mornings.
Oh wow.
All right. I think you need to set up some like time management workshops. Right? People can come in and figure out how you're.
Totally. And I have a house with 2 dogs. My dog's like senile. walking into walls and stuff. Like,
So you have to keep the house clean and
yeah, and I'm a germaphobe. You ask my husband, every day I'm yelling about the house being clean. Like, yeah, everything's got to be clean.
And you don't have any help. You do it all yourself.
I do it myself.
Nice.
Laundry done.
You fit everything in there.
Fit everything in.
Awesome.
Take my
All right,
kids to
so
their
you've had
extracurricular.
5 MMA fights so far?
4.
4?
4 MMA
Okay.
fights.
So 4 MMA fights. If you think back to these fights, was there ever a point of time inside the cage or inside the ring, wherever it was, that you went, oh my God, like you had to dig deep to be able to come back? Like you were in trouble. Does that happen or not? Tell us about
my
that a
last
little
fight.
bit. Okay,
Actually, the first, like, I think it was like after the first round, the bell went, and I remember saying to myself, "Oh fuck, how am I gonna do 4 more rounds?" That's the only thing that I remember of that fight. It's the only thing. I don't remember nothing else.
You don't remember it?
I don't remember nothing.
Okay.
I actually didn't even watch that fight until this past Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah.
Sal and I had sat down, and I was like, okay. He's like, you should watch the fight. I'm like, I don't want to watch the fight. He's like, you should watch it. It's a pretty good fight. I'm like, I don't want to watch it. But he told me, he's like, you should watch it.
Were you surprised?
I was surprised, yeah. Like at that fight or flight, you know.
That kind of reaction.
Yeah,
so you kind of went into a different mode.
Totally. Because I don't remember nothing.
Yeah. So that was a new experience for you.
Yeah, digging deep.
Yeah.
And like, and just knowing that, you know, I could take shots and
that you're able to come back from that.
Because
the rest of your fights have kind of been clean, kind of one-sided.
Yeah.
You've gone in there and you've managed the whole situation. This last fight, you had to overcome a little bit of adversity in there in the first round, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What's in the future? I mean, I understand that your kids come first and that's a priority. Kids are growing up and you're doing what you're doing. Have you actually set some goals for yourself in your MMA career as well, or are you just taking it a day at a time, a fight at a time?
Yeah, you know, right now I'm just kind of doing the whole journey thing. You know, I don't want to say too much or, you know, get my hopes up on certain things, but I'm just kind of like riding it out and seeing where the universe takes me. Do
you watch women in your weight class that are at the top of the game? When you watch them, do you feel like I can hang out with these girls, or do you feel like you're still some ways apart in terms of skill set, experience, and whatnot?
Yeah, I never want to give myself too much confidence or too many compliments. That's one thing. That,
you don't want to blow up your ego?
Yeah, so my husband, he never compliments me. My whole training camp, he'll never sit there and pat my back. I don't need that, you know. I need somebody to be like hard on me so that I can work harder for myself. So usually I always take his advice. If he says, you know, you can hang with these chicks, then I believe him. I completely trust him as my coach. So when we sit there and we watch, you know, the upper echelon of the female fighters, he says, you know, Shawna, you belong up there. And so, you know, with the support of my family, you know, one day I'll be up there for sure.
Is there anyone in particular that you look at as a role model? Like you look at their career and you go, I can see how this person has progressed forward and reached their goals.
Yeah, I have a lot of fighters that I kind of like their style or
like give us some examples. Yeah.
Like females and males. I have.
Name a name. Name a name for us.
Okay,
who's your best fighter? Your favorite
like
one?
hands down,
Yeah.
like beast mode has to be Cyborg.
Okay.
Like that's who I feel like I turn into when I'm in training camp. Like she's the shit,
a beast.
man. She's like
fucking
the beast, yeah.
Yeah.
And the mom too. Also. She is. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have a little bit of that kind of style in you. Just
when
move
it comes
forward
down to it,
and
I mean, when it comes down to it, I'm not afraid to throw down. That's for sure.
When at the gym right now, do you teach any classes?
Yeah, I assist in teaching.
Okay.
We teach the kids classes together.
The kids classes,
yeah.
Okay. Do you have a women's class too, or separate women's class, or is it mixed when?
No, it's all mixed.
It's all mixed. do you find that some of the women that come through look up to you at all?
Yeah, we have a couple females that have come in and shown some interest in fighting, and so I look forward to kind of training with them side by side.
Yeah.
And even males, because a lot of my training partners are males too, and they're looking to get some competition in as well. But again, I'm really hard on myself, so if you're gonna go competition and you're gonna train side by side with me, you have to keep up.
Yeah.
Like, I want everybody to do good.
Yeah, everybody rises together.
Everybody
right?
rises together, exactly.
Yeah. Now, with the kids class, when you're teaching kids, do you find that some kids come in and as a result of training martial arts, getting that discipline and whatnot, their attitude on life changes? Have you seen any of that shift happen?
Yeah, we especially teenagers. When teenagers come in, young kids, they're kind of more outgoing anyways.
Yeah.
But teenagers, I find that they're kind of more, to themselves. But I definitely found that the martial arts has helped them open up and be more social within the group.
Do you get feedback from their parents at all?
Totally. And as a coach too, we see the difference in them as well.
Yeah.
So
as a mom, just when you meet other parents, do you ever just say like, this is what I do, and do they ever get like a reaction from other moms that just says like, oh my God, I'm shocked? Like they just look at you differently because you say you do like combat sports or you're into martial arts. Is that something that's you find that people have this stigma around that's like kind of like cockfighting?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. If I have a conversation with somebody and they find out, or even like people through social media, if they see me, they can't believe it. They always like look at my picture, or like a picture from when I did bikini, or like a modeling picture, and they're like, I can't believe you do that. But I think, as the sport matures, I feel like there's a lot of, pretty like bikini girls doing the competition. Like I look on social media and there's a lot of young females doing
that are coming up.
Coming up in combat sports. So it's interesting.
Yeah, it's catching on.
Yeah.
It's catching on. But I don't think, like what Trevor was saying, I don't think that sort of judgment is going away necessarily. There's people who are constantly, I face them every time as people. Like we've been involved with Battlefield for a little over 7 years, and people who know me outside, they kind of look at it and go, what are you doing with all that violence and blood and this and that? And I always try to tell them, look, it's not, it might look that way, but the discipline, the dedication.
It's an art, right?
It's an art. Plus, you have to give up a lot in order to be able to do what you do in there. So it's not as simple as that. And for you as a fighter, having to be a mom and be amongst other moms. I mean, the fitness bikini thing, I can understand. Some moms might look up to you and say, oh, I wish I had your body. I wish I had the dedication to train. I wish I could get my ass out of bed at 4 o'clock in the morning and go run or whatever, right? But I bet that judgment is still there when you talk about fighting. They're not looking up to you and saying, oh, this chick is tough, right? They're going, well, I can't believe you're out there and getting punched in the face or promoting violence and all this stuff that we hear all the time, right? Yeah, I think that's what he's pointing to.
Right. Like a negative?
Like the negative. Yeah, sort of a judgmental, yeah.
I haven't come across that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a really good
lot of the
sign.
women that I well, you would think, because my kids go to, like...
Or maybe they're just scared of you.
They go, yeah, maybe. Well, even, like, where my kids go to school, like, it's a religious school, and you would think that they would be, like, very judgmental about it, but the principal was like, oh, let me touch your belt, and so was... It's okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because, for sure, I wore, like, glasses, and I was like, oh, I don't know what they're going to say to me. But no, I got really good support.
It was good.
Yeah.
That's very good. That's awesome. What's if someone's listening to this podcast and they're maybe they're not doing too well in their life, they're lost. Like maybe when you were right after high school in that point of time, but unfortunately they've had a a bad turn and they're involved in drugs, alcohol, gangs, things like that. And you had the opportunity to sit down across with them and help them get out of that position. You're sort of, imagine you're virtually sitting across from them and you're giving them advice. What would you suggest to them? Where could they start? What could they do a little bit differently, maybe to pull themselves up?
I would tell them to maybe think of something positive every morning when you wake up and get out of bed. Change your mind frame to be something positive. And then I feel like the universe will give back when you start your day off with a positive note. And then kind of going from there. If there's an interest that you have, maybe pursue that. Or I would offer my help. We actually ran a youth outreach program for a while at our gym, and my husband quite often goes down to the Burnaby Correctional facility. Yeah, and he goes and gives seminars down there, and he always invites the youth to come out and train with us. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So how can they reach out to you? You want to share some of your social media, email address, something as we end here, so that they can actually, maybe someone is out there and they think, okay, you offered your help, I'm going to take you up on that.
For sure. So you can look us up. Our website's www.clinchforlife.com. We're on Facebook under Clinch MMA. My Facebook is Shawna Junglee Clinch. You
have Instagram?
Instagram.
Twitter?
Instagram, Shawna Junglee. Email, info@clinchforlife.com.
Junglee, where did that come from?
Junglee. Okay, so Junglee.
I can't end this. I was going to end it, but I can't end it without knowing
means like untamed.
In
like
what
a
language?
Savage. In my husband's language.
Okay.
Hindi. It means like a savage, like untamed.
Okay.
And that's, it started off as like a small joke because when I walk around the house, I'm really like foot heavy.
Yeah.
So he used to call me an elephant. So everything kind of stemmed from there. And when I came in the cage, I'm just like, I feel like I have like this animal inside.
This wild beastly thing.
Like, pounce,
That's so awesome. I did not know that. See, I learned something new about you. That's very good. Well, thank you so much for coming out, Shawna.
Thanks for
Can't
having
wait to
me.
see you fight soon, hopefully.
Thank you.
Thank you.